Hi, my name is Amy. I am a Usborne Books and More consultant, which means I share awesome children's books with awesome kids and their families and schools and organizations. But I also happen to live in Kenya with my family via the US Army. We are over here because there's a really cool medical research program out here, and my husband is a doctor. And along the way, because we're here, I've decided to go out and start reading books with kids in different organizations just so I could get to know the area and try to be a blessing. And I just wanted to share what I learned throughout this experience and what we are doing now as a result of it. And it all started with a group, girls reading clubs. They meet in public schools. Public schools here in the area are where children come early in the morning. They come around 5 or 6 in the morning. They walk to school most of the time. They stay all day until around 5 o'clock at night. And then they walk home. They often have between 40, 50, and upwards to 80. I've even heard 90 students in one classroom with one teacher. They don't have access to books, not even textbooks. Sometimes they'll have a textbook or two, but they share it throughout, all of the children all together. They certainly don't have fun reading books. They don't encourage reading for fun. I mean, how could you if you don't have access to fun reading books? Definitely don't have really cool, nice quality books such as this that allows them to see inside and visualize and think creatively, right? Yeah, these kids have very limited access to reading. And so I started joining in with these clubs and bringing some of my fun books and showing up and just saying, hey, can we read for a little bit? Wow, the reaction was astounding. I knew that it would be fun to read, and I know that reading makes a difference. Of course it does, but I had no idea the level of impact it could have. These children, I would bring a massive bag full of books, and I would read a few, and we would talk through things, and sometimes they draw or do an activity or something that kind of just encourages them to be confident in who they are. Just a little side note, girls here are often not treated very well. An example, even as adult women, would be, a husband and wife who had actually progressed in their marriage to a better point, something that we would say is a better point, where they were communicating well and respecting each other's opinion, had met with some other men on a street corner and were talking about something, and the husband asked his wife's opinion, and he was ridiculed because he had any interest in knowing what his wife had to say on a normal daily topic. And this is instilled in girls' minds from the very beginning. That's something that they are trying to address and to change and to talk about. They want to bring stories that talk about girls doing different things and encourage these girls to be not only confident, but to be able to encourage other girls to be confident and to talk about change, right? And so this program is really incredible, going into the public schools and talking with kids. So that was kind of the sparking point for this. The bigger organization that I mentioned called Malele, they have they're a community resource center, and also are in the beginning process of creating kind of a baby care center so that teenage mothers can return to school. Something that I've started seeing even more recently after I've been here for about a year and a half is that there's a lot of kids in the rural villages who maybe one parent passed away and the other one didn't feel able to take care of that child, so that child is passed to another family member, and that family member doesn't have the resources to actually send that child to school, or they send that child to school walking every day, and maybe the child actually never makes it to school and spends many days not actually in school but playing and then coming home at the end of the day. This is not uncommon. or they shift from family member to family member so often that they don't actually learn in school. And so, like a little girl that I met who is actually doesn't know how old she is. She thinks she's 11. We think she's older. We tried to put her into school and she ran away. She wouldn't take the tests. She ran away from even trying to meet with the teachers to even see if it would be a good fit. She ran away. And it's not, I don't blame her. You know, if you've missed your window of really learning all of the good stuff at the age that you should learn it, how hard is it to sit down with kids who are younger than you in a classroom and try to learn? It's a big deal. So, and this is really, really a common thing. So this organization is really going to open up its doors, allow the community to come in, and they're building the main library that this project that I'm going to tell you about is going to support. And so this, there will be a new library on this space. There will be more than 3,500 books after this project is finished, hopefully more like 2,000 or 4,000 books housed in this library. And from this library, people will be able to come in, the teenage moms will be able to come and study, the babies and toddlers will be able to have books that they can play with and start from baby loving learning, so that what happened with mom is not going to happen to them. And then for the reading clubs, they're going to come to this library and pull books out. But that's only about a third of what this big project is going to provide. Let me back up and tell you about the big project. So because of the great need that I found for storybooks and reading books and nonfiction books and all the things, because of the way I saw them eat up the books, I would give them 10 minutes at the end to just sit and read whatever they wanted. And it was like, why does this have to end? Because I saw this great need for it, and was directed to Books for Africa. Books for Africa has agreed to help us bring a container full of books over to Kenya that we can distribute to this library location and to several others. Through another partner who needed to bring over her own books, which saved us a good deal of money on the shipping of the container. Books for Africa provides donated books from all around the US completely free of charge if somebody can pay the shipping cost to get the container over. And so we had a partner come in and pay half of the shipping costs, which made it tremendous. And then we had a grant come in that paid another large portion, huge portion of our shipping costs. And so then we were able to divide up the remaining costs among several other organizations. Among those includes an organization that rescues street children off the street, many of whom are addicted to glue, many of whom have been kicked out of their homes for stealing something, many of whom have not been home in years and years and years and years. And they do a rehabilitation program to get them back into their homes slowly and as they're able, all the while teaching them along the way. There's another organization that assists HIV positive children and children affected by HIV through somebody in their family. And so they kind of follow up with their care. We have 4 private Christian schools who are all going to receive books from this project. We have several other groups, another group that rescues kids who are really in desperate situations in the slums, works with the parents, works with the schools, works on their medical care, but just really cares for them consistently over the years to make sure that they succeed. There's several other groups that I have not mentioned here who are also wonderful, who are all going to partake. People have been able to contribute small amounts, but because of the grant and the partnership with this amazing other group who took care of half the cost, that meant that these people could contribute some cost to the shipping in exchange for a large amount of books each. Half of the container is estimated to bring over 11,000 books, and we are thrilled. That said, let me back up and say that Africa is used to receiving leftovers. They're used to our secondhand stuff. I can go to the market up the street here and get the name brand stuff for $1 or $2. because it all comes over, and that's wonderful, and it's generous, and it's so great that we give our things. And I'm so thankful that Books for Africa is sending over donated books, and I really strongly encourage you to send your donated books to Books for Africa. However, I also want to send new amazing books, because these children are worth receiving new books. They need to feel that emotion that I am worthy of experiencing this new book. They need to be able to look into something that doesn't have crumpled plastic, dirty cover on the outside of it, and that has a beautiful, inviting story inside, or nonfiction, or whatever it may be that engages them. They need the access to be able to see beyond the slum that they live in, or the rural village that they live in, to be able to dream about what other possibilities they may be able to find, to be able to think about other parts of the world. What is snow? what creatures live under the ocean? All these things that they maybe hear about here and there, but don't get access to actually see and learn about for the majority of Kenya. I read recently that a couple of years ago, they said that almost half of the Kenyan population can't read or write. I don't know if that's true. It's an article that I read, but if it is true, it's not terribly hard to believe, because most of people live in the rural villages, and education is hoped for, but often isn't accessible. So I would love your help in sending the best quality books we can to these girls and boys, from babies up through teenagers, to give them really incredible stuff. We want to send them books that have characters who are diverse, many of whom are Black, so that they can see that. I just got a brand new one all about space, written by a Black astronaut. It's incredible, and it's true. It's by a legit, incredible woman. And things that encourage girls to be confident, things that show our world on a grand scale, things that help them to dream and think about tomorrow more than just today. So I would love your help. These books are not cheap. They're beautiful and they're incredible, and we buy them for our children, but they're not cheap. Thankfully, Usborne Books and More gives a matching grant. For any donation that you give, they're going to give 50% more on top of what you've given to buy more books. So your dollars are really going to be stretched. You can even shop for your own family, and it'll still be matched 50%. So please check out the links. Help us out. Please help us send incredible books over, books that they're really going to love, books that are going to make a difference, books that are going to encourage them to love, love, love to read. It's going to make a huge difference in the lives of the kids now who experience them. And we pray that they change their lives so much that these books also have an impact on their children after that. Thank you for your time and for listening. Thank you for considering. Even $30 sends 2 jigsaw puzzles, actually 3 jigsaw puzzles with the matching grant, which is something that they've never experienced before. Please consider helping us out with this incredible project. Thanks.